What is up, everyone? I'm the one, the only Jack Slater, yeah, the comic outlaw. And we're going back to the Fantastic Four at the mercy of Rama-Tut, the Pharaoh from the future. And you know who this is, man. A Pharaoh that takes us back to ancient times with modern weapons and seems to neutralize the Fantastic Four and plans to make Sue his queen. Seems to happen a lot in the Fantastic Four. Now the Fantastic Four are standing against Rama-Tut with a strange weapon in his hand, and they are powerless, defenseless, under his control. But why? Why has this diabolical fiend taken control of them? Well, we'll find out. Earlier, the Fantastic Four is flying around doing their own thing, and of course, the Thing, Ben Grimm, is in a little disguise right now with Allison, his girlfriend, the Puppet Master's daughter, by the way. And Torch decides to light up his stogie, give him a little trouble. And basically this is a disguise for those Yancey boys always messing with him. But Torch comes bringing news this time instead of just being a goofball. And they find out back in ancient times, because Reed does a lot of different sciences, history happens to be one of them. He finds a radioactive symbol, an isotope, and it claims that it could cure blindness. But all they need is a time machine. But where will they find that? From their old friend Victor Von Doom. And since Doom is cleared out of his castle, they decide to use his time machine to go back to the time of the pharaohs, to go back to find this isotope in order to cure Allison's blindness. So they end up back in time, and right where the giant Sphinx is. And the Fantastic Four have absolutely no problem taking them out. I mean, the Torch doing his thing, frying all their weapons, and of course them trying to charge the Thing just doesn't work for them. I mean, too strong, too powerful. And of course they bring in the chariots, and Reed Richards does something very interesting. He stretches his body out and jams his arms and legs in the spokes of the wheel, twisting it up and knocking the chariots over. And of course everyone tries to attack the Invisible Woman, and she goes invisible. But all of a sudden the Torch's powers stop working. The Thing's strength leaves him, and Reed Richards turns back to his normal form. And Sue Storm, of course, loses her invisibility. What's going on? Why are their powers stopped? What you find out as they meet the Pharaoh. And he goes on to explain that he has a device that enables to stop their powers. Not only that, but controls their minds. Now this Pharaoh isn't from the past, he's from the future. And he plans to rule the ancient civilizations. And due to a famous relative, and it's for many years it was either Dr. Doom or Reed Richards. They never really revealed who it was, but through that he was able to build a ship, that Sphinx, and go back to the ancient times. He crashed, of course, leaving him stranded there. But with his ray gun and his other tools and other devices, he was able to take over and establish himself as Pharaoh and build a civilization around him. Now, the Fantastic Four are prisoners under the spell of the Pharaoh. He takes Sue Storm as his queen, puts the Thing to work. And of course, Reed Richards is a lookout, shield, for his armies, and Human Torch as the fool, which is pretty fitting because Johnny is sort of a fool. And of course, Sue's being dressed up as the queen. And the thing about Thing is that his powers seem to fade in and out. And this is one of those opportune moments where he stops being the Thing and turns back into Ben Grimm, escapes. And of course, Rama-Tut is having Johnny Storm be a fool. And Ben Grimm actually steals the laser. Not the Thing, but Ben Grimm. And this happened a lot on and off. His powers would switch. They would go back and forth. And right before he turns into the Thing again, he hits the Invisible Woman. Is able to free her mind. She tries going invisible, but she's in the Pharaoh's clothes instead of the uniforms with unstable molecules, so he still can see her. Of course, it brings Human Torch out of it. He starts throwing fireballs at the Pharaoh. He tries to escape. But an entire army is waiting for him. But that's okay. Thing knows how to take care of him. Grabs something big and bulky and just throws it at him. It's clobbering time after all. And of course, the Human Torch sets off to find Reed. And they're using him sort of as a shield, for arrows and stuff like that. Since his skin is real rubbery and kind of just bounces everything back, they free Reed from the mind control. And of course they go after Rama-Tut. They go looking through his ship, trying to find him, and basically just trying to find this villain. He seemed to have just disappeared into thin air. But the Fantastic Four will not give up as easily. Of course, they get a transmission from him, but they search the entire ship, and going from place to place, they still really haven't found anything, which is leading them to the possibility that the good Pharaoh might have just escaped. But they are very thorough in their search, and what they find is an escape pod. And of course, Rama-Tut escapes, vowing vengeance, and that he will return one day. Now, they find the radioactive isotope. Their mission complete. They found the cure for Allison. They are ready to go and go back to their land, their time, in America. So they get ready to take off after blowing up the Sphinx, and they end up back, but they do not have the isotopes. And Reed quickly says you cannot bring the isotopes back from time. He was afraid of this. So this is one of those situations where Reed Richard does something really good, but fails at the same time. But they did discover Rama-Tut. And until next time, I will catch you on the flip side. Laters.